The defense industry, historically, has been a proving ground for many of the systems we rely on today. These institutions are often leaders in emerging technologies, and we believe it's better to understand how their approach will impact our lives. So anyway, making a case for defense contractors to, get the credit that they deserve for being the pioneers. I mean, this is like admitting in a backhand way that, yeah, the economy is really a bunch of defense contractors in a trench coat. Should that be the way that it is, though? I mean, is that really necessary on a long-term basis? Anyway, speaking of, cultural institutions being infiltrated by the military, here's actually a very long article from The Guardian, Valentine's Day, February 14, 2024. The headline is, "The U.S. military is embedded in the gaming world. Its target, teen recruits. Amid a recruitment struggle, branches are using huge hits like Fortnite as marketing tools. Some veterans see the practice as unethical, you think, especially given the age of the gaming audience." So they're not even giving a lot of people a chance. And, this is what's happening on the inside. This is where the U.S. finds the people. They're getting to them before they can think for themselves, and that's a lot of what's happening. Yes, some people are joining because, they know what they're getting into. They're racist. They want to go do whatever. That's not necessarily the case everywhere, and we should be starving the U.S. military of recruits wherever we can. Again, look into counter-recruitment efforts, see if there's something that you can get involved in. But anyway, in a small room tucked into a U.S. Navy facility outside Memphis, Tennessee, uniformed personnel sit hunched over monitors, their eyes focused on screens as they speak into headsets with clipped efficiency. Computer towers and glowing red keyboards crowd their desks. This is top-of-the-line gear used for executing combat missions and coordinating strategy, but not with fleets stationed across the world. These sailors are playing video games. On the other end of their headsets and screens are young gamers they hope to inspire. Quote, "In 2019, we did a big look at where we are spending our money, looking at where the next generation is," says Lieutenant Aaron Jones, captain of the Navy's esports team. Yes, they have an esports team at the Navy. As we sit in his office after touring the facility, a naval press officer hovers a few feet away. "This is where they are," Jones continues. "Whether it's Twitch or YouTube or Facebook gaming, this is what they love." His esports team, Navy personnel who compete with gamers online under the name Goats and Glory, consists of 12 enlisted sailors who used to work as flight officers, sonar techs, and even a chaplain's assistant. Again, so much for the ethics there. A Navy recruiting command spokesperson says that the Navy allocates 3 to 5% of its marketing budget to esport initiatives annually. That amounted to up to $4.3 million from October 22 through September 2023 to budget information obtained through, according to budget information obtained through a Freedom of Information Act request. So they're spending over $4 million a year trying to get to young people playing video games. Since 2018, the U.S. military has been ramping up its use of gaming to recruit more people. And again, let's be honest, to recruit more kids. At a critical time when the U.S. Armed Forces face the worst recruitment struggle since becoming an all-volunteer force, or in other words, dropping the draft, after the Vietnam War. Targeting gamers makes sense from the military's perspective, as it gives them access to the young, tech-savvy population they want joining up. And as I say, gives them access to the young, you want to just do like a slavering, like, yes, give me the young population. Oh, yes, delicious. That's what they're looking. They're looking at you as that plump new resource that they can sink their fangs into. That's how they see you. But some veterans told me that marketing the military with video games, especially making a game out of war, is unethical. Of primary concern is just how young the military's gaming audience is. Online gaming spaces are popular with minors, many of them not yet 13 years old. And the military deliberately capitalizes on games that appeal to them. If the military's recruiting efforts are successful, these kids and teens will end up applying the skills they honed while playing games they love to warfare, piloting drones to kill from afar, for example. you can play all the fake fictional video games you like without it impacting your mental health. Maybe to a point. Okay, like do have a life, do step outside. But when you're killing people with a drone quote game, eventually that's going to hit you, and you're going to realize, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? And it's a terrible, terrible thing that you're participating in, and eventually you're going to realize that. I mean, whether you realize it or not, it's doing the damage, but you're just contributing to the pain and misery in the world, and you might not realize it now. You're going to realize it someday, and it's not good for anybody. One young gamer I spoke to, Katie K, age 12, spends hours a day watching live streams of people playing warlike games on YouTube and TikTok Live. The thought of fighting for her country intrigues her. She thinks it would teach her better discipline. Also, and you know what? Take martial arts. You don't need to go join the U.S. military and fight for corporate empire. Also, I would think about all the people that would thank me. Like, that would be cool. And, that's what a 12-year-old thinks, but the reality is starkly different. Quote, I was in a country fighting a population that lives on less than $1 a day with gigantic weapons and armored vehicles, says a former U.S. Army intelligence analyst, Jeremiah Knowles. And if I'm patrolling in Afghanistan with my assault rifle and a kid gets too close, ... he pauses. That's not what they put in the advertisements. That's not what they talk about on their Twitch streams. So I'm going to leave it there. Food for thought for you. Grossly unethical. Would you expect anything less than from the U.S. military? But this is going on now. As they said, since 2018, they're making an extra push on this stuff. Have you had experiences with this? Share it in the chat. Share it in the comments. Because, we've already heard from a number of people who did. Because they're getting more aggressive. They're finding this is the hardest time they've had finding recruits. People have caught on to their bullshit since the Bush-Cheney years. And, when they kept people in the military over and over again, they weren't letting them out of their contracts, and they were just redeploying and redeploying and redeploying. They were running out of people to support this bullshit. And so now they're literally going after 12-year-olds because that's the level that this has come to. So we have them up against the wall as far as they're having the most difficulty finding recruits. Let's continue to make it hard and make it harder and, make it impossible, ideally, for them to get these recruits. Then they'll have to go back to a draft system, and then you'll get a major struggle over that, and we have to keep fighting the system until it is dead. So there's no way out of fighting it, but, we gotta fight them preying on our kids and, starve them of recruits, human resources, and eventually take control of the system.